I know, I hope it lasts a little bit. I'm just going to give my 2 cents to get started. I actually spent time typing something today. So I don't normally prepare like this. So.
You don't need glasses to read that?
Yes, I just went to the eye doctor. She said my eyes are very good for an old lady. So, okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jennifer Sibbett. I'm the president of the Campbellville Community Association, who is your host tonight. I just wanted to say thank you so much and welcome. I want to thank town council members who voted in favor of this by-election because I think it's very important, as well as the candidates for putting your names forward. It's fantastic to be part of this process. The turnout here tonight is wonderful, and I think that just goes to show how much we love where we live, and we're grateful for everything that you guys are doing for us. It's nice to see a strong rural voice. Since I have a captive audience, I want to let you know a little bit about the Campbellville Community Association. Our organization's mission is to improve the quality of life in Campbellville and the surrounding area. Essentially, we bring people together, whether it's sharing information through our Facebook group or community newsletter, or through a variety of social events such as our summer movie nights, our Santa Claus parade, roadside cleanups, partnering with local businesses like the Mohawk Racetrack to bring, we have an upcoming winter market, and then we also host community awareness events such as these all-candidate meetings. I believe that a strong, connected community is powerful, and we're showing that tonight by you all being here. If you'd like to become a member of our group, we'd love to have you. Strong membership allows us to receive grant funding from the Milton Community Fund to be able to do all these different events. And you can find membership information on our website, campbellville.net, or come and see me at any point after the evening so we can connect, or message me on Facebook or email or whatever. I'm around. So due to the wonderful number of candidates that was interested in being our next representative, we had to change our format slightly. Normally we just do open questions to the floor. This time what we did was some crowdsourcing to get an understanding of what the major rural issues are. So thank you to everyone who sent in questions and comments. I did my very best to try and capture everything, and so I hope you'll see that tonight. If not, the candidates will be sticking around afterwards, and you're more than welcome to ask questions or send them emails. All the information is on the Town of Milton website under the by-election tab. I will now turn this over to our moderator extraordinaire, John Opstein, who is also a former honorary mayor of Campbellville. And he's already gone over the expectations, so I don't have to say that part of it. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. And that's not just for Jennifer's words, that's for all the work that she does in our community. It's great that she does that. So let's hear it for Jennifer. All right, so we're going to get started because it's not about me talking, it's about you all talking. So who drew lucky number 1? Okay, you have a minute and a half.
It's more than I had yesterday. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is George Minikakis. My family's been here for over 50 years. I actually met my wife here in Campbellville at a social many years ago. She said yes to me, so it was a good thing. With that said, I'm the chairman of Milton Hydro. I'm the chair of Action Milton. I'm not sure if everybody knows what Action Milton is, but we're lobbying against the quarry, and there's news coming that way. My former life was that of a CEO and a country manager for Fortune 500 companies. I've been blessed by those opportunities, having been in the US, in Canada, in China, in Europe, in Australia. So I've been learned to become a very multicultural individual and very fitting in different organizations. And then it comes down to, why do you want to run? And the reason I want to run is twofold. One, and it's a broad one, by the way, it's because this town continues to grow, and there are challenges in this town. And in the rural area as well. They're just culminating to things. The second is, and the next one is that I believe that we as a community need to get together to ensure that our rural voices are heard, and that we build an economically smart community and economy.
Number 2? Who's number 2? Okay, I don't know. This one reaches, or we can share that over here. Good? Okay. Yeah, we're going to share 2 mics. One of that and one of these.
May I have to pull down the button to turn that one on, I think.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming out today. My name is Zainab Reza. I'm a Ward 1 resident, a local small business owner, and
Oh, stand up, please.
Sorry, I'll start again. Ward 1 resident, local small business owner, and I have a background in political science and public policy. I've worked in the nonprofit sector, so I have experience with newcomer programming and advancing mental health awareness in the corporate world and in educational settings. I grew up in Milton. Actually, I grew up right in Ward 1, and I've always been a very involved community member. I volunteered with the Milton District Hospital, with Darling Home for Kids, with Habitat for Humanity, and Canada Day, just to name a few. The Milton I moved into 15 years ago. The Ward 1 I moved into 15 years ago looks very different from today's Ward 1. The town is growing really quickly, and I don't think that the needs of the residents are being met necessarily as we continue to grow. And I'm running because I truly believe that Milton can be a more accessible, sustainable, and community-focused town. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're good.
So, good evening, everyone. My name is Ade Jisola.
Check your mic, see if it's on.
It is on. Can you hear back there? You have to really come close.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello. That's better.
Now yell into it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ade Jisola Atiba. I'm a retired banker after 32 years. I worked in Nigeria as a banker and 19 years with RBC. My last role was community manager at the Lakeshore, Nisaga area, where I had 4 branches reporting to me. I was the strategic lead. I was in charge of growth and everything else. I love the community, so I did start about 3 nonprofits. So I'm the kind of girl that rolls up her sleeve and just get to work. I've won many awards, whether it's professionally or in the community. I'm a speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, and I just love my community. Why am I running? I've been knocking on doors since July 1st. I have 5 areas I said I want to support, but I want to talk about what the community, what the residents, what my neighbors have been telling me. They want Milton, they want to live in Milton as a family. They want to live here, play here, and walk here. And so that is what I want to focus on, making sure that as we grow, our amenities, our infrastructures, everything is growing with us. Do we have the right commercials for our children to work? Those are the things I'm going to focus on. Thank you.
Who was number 5? Oh, 4. Oh, 4? Okay, number 4. Hi.
Everyone can hear me as well? Okay. My name is Pat O'Reilly. I was born in Milton at the Milton Hospital. I went to Milton District High School. I actually went to Hitherfield as well. So I left to go get further education, lived in Halifax and Vancouver, worked for the feds and the province and the municipal government in Halifax. But I've come back and I'm so happy I came back. I'm glad I left to explore, but I just love being here and I'm so much happier. And running a small business out of my barn as a venue. Why am I running? I mean, I think that Milton has just grown so fast, and a lot of us, that comes with some growing pains, and a lot of us want to see something different out of that. We want to see Milton and Campbellville and Brookville all be just the best version of themselves that they can be. And I think I can help us get there. I know that my heart's in the right place, and that I'm not in this for me. I don't care about any sort of prestige or anything that would come with this position. I just want to help us get to a better place and make our communities. There's a lot of improvements I'd like to see, but we'll have to get that to in our future questions.
Lorenzo. I'm running for Ward 1 local councillor. I am Ward with Milton Knights of Columbus, 2025 Canada Day Chair, Director on Townsend Smith Foundation, past Director for the Milton Library, past Chair of the Milton Economic Development Advisory Committee. Let's stop there. I want to run for Ward 1 because I've seen a lot of bad decisions happen on Town Council. I've seen how there has been a lot of split votes and a lot of problems with not having full-time representation. When we have part-time councillors, Ward 1 is the most diverse ward in Milton. We have the rural area, we have downtown Milton, we have the new development by Derry. We need a representative that's going to represent all of Ward 1. It is the most difficult ward, I believe, in Milton to represent. But it is synonymous with all of Milton. It encompasses all that we are, and you need someone who's going to represent all communities, all groups fairly. You need someone who's going to have the time to do 40 or 50 hours a week and be dedicated to that. There are a lot of decisions being made currently that are affecting our growth. We need to take back control for the residents, not for the developers, not for the big corporations. You need to make sure that you're there for all groups in Milton. That's why I am running.
Number 6.
Hi everyone, my name is Zahir Ashraf and I'm father of 4. Actually 6. I'm also raising my brother's 2 daughters who was shot and murdered here in Ward 1 3 years ago. Professionally, I work in a cybersecurity domain for a bank. At the same time, I manage my brother's business, which is MK Auto Repair. I decided to run in Ward 1 election because I have experienced firsthand many of the ongoing challenges in the community, which are some of these snow removal, parking issues, speeding, and lack of cell phone signals and high-speed international internet in rural areas. These are not just small inconveniences. They affect our quality of life, our safety, and our ability to stay connected. I am here because I care, and I believe that with the right leadership and focus, we can work together to overcome these challenges and build a better Ward 1 and Milton in general. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cecil Young. I've lived in Milton for 10 years. I lived in Mississauga for 40 before that, and 1 year in Stony Creek. I have 50 years of political, business, and community experience. In Mississauga, I served on many boards of directors of community organization. I ran an IT company until last year when I officially retired, but I'm not really retired, more busy than I was. I'm running because I don't like to see the direction in which council is taking Milton. I see the hyper-development that's going on, and I see what's coming in rural Milton, where I'm concerned about drinking water, groundwater, and what's going to happen to the groundwater when we develop all of Milton. And it's coming. The federal government is going to force Milton and other municipalities across Ontario to build, and cover over all our valuable land. Rural life is nice. I was born in a village in Jamaica where we didn't have electricity until I was 17 years old. Nor did we have running water when I left there 55 years ago. So I understand rural living, and I hope that you will vote for me, and I will take all of your concern to Milton Council. Thank you.
I think John did that on purpose. He saved the best one for last. All right, I'm Shabazz Khan. Many of you may already know me through my legal services and real estate services. And whether I'm representing somebody in the court or helping them trade in real estate, I'm always representing their best interests. That being said, Ward 1 has an excellent opportunity to be represented at its best for the issues that it has, like quarry, getting not enough services, crime is another one, and I can go list, and this just goes on. And I have been working in Ward 1 since the last 13 years. Many candidates over here probably not have an office here, but I do. You can always walk into my office and ask for accountability, and I will be more than happy to give it to you. So that's your advantage for somebody who actually works in Ward 1. Also, not just whether I win or lose, you guys are always welcome to swing by and see if there's anything that I can help you with, which is relevant to my profession. If I'm not able to do it, I'll get you somebody who can. Reason why I'm running this, and I'm going to be bluntly honest because I'm known for it, for being very vocal about this. I went to the council meeting and I did not like what I saw. Some councillors were promoting their own personal interest instead of the interest of very people that elected them. And that is not okay at any cost. And I'm not somebody who's just going to see it and look back at it. So therefore, I'm here tonight. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you very much. And yes, I say all of you for the best. That's what I'm saying. Best for last, and everybody's best here. You put your name forward, I would totally respect that. So and thank you for respecting the bell. Appreciate that. So, my pleasure. So now we have questions that were submitted, and then Jennifer put them together. You know, some are just other people want to know things. So the first two are just going to be a show of hands because they're pretty big, you know, really direct questions. So, number one, raise your hand if you are a resident of Ward 1. Okay, I thought we'd have more hands up here outside. Okay, there we go. All right, put your hands down. So, number two, raise your hand if you support the town's position in opposing the Reid Sideroad Quarry. Okay, everybody saw that? Okay, all right, good. Now we'll get into questions where you actually get to answer. It's not just Simon Says or whatever, okay? So, unlike Jennifer, my eyes are not as good. So, the question is for all of you. In the recent past, taxation system changes causing the rural area to pay for services they will never be able to access, lack of transit, longer wait times for emergency services, lack of rural programming for sports and recreation are some examples of how rural residents sometimes feel neglected by the town. Do you support a reduction of taxes for rural residents who do not receive the same level of services as urban residents? And if not, what is your plan or vision to make the rural community feel respected and strong, important part of Milton? We're just going to start on that end and then work our way this way. And you'll have, I'll say 2.5 minutes. Because this is there's a lot there. So everyone understand what we're looking for? Okay?
Thank you. So, like
Laura and I were singing out of both mics earlier today in our house, trying to practice with it. We've done.
Who won it? Turn this one off.
Okay, give that a try. Yeah, okay, give it a try. Oh, do you probably turn it back up again?
Yeah, it's all the way up.
Technology is amazing when it works, am I right? I might have to do the old-fashioned way.
The king can stand and speak in the middle.
Well, now you all have a chance to think about the question.
Yeah.
You know, it would be unfair that you have to go first with no time to think. So now
Why don't you read it one more time, John, as we figure this out?
Okay.
This one's working now.
Okay.
All right. Don't anybody touch it.
Can I sit down or should I just stand?
You might be, yeah.
'Cause I can hold tinfoil.
Hello? Hello?
No, now it's not working.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I wonder if guys just go in here. Maybe slide down the chair. Maybe it's just slightly out of range.
Yep. You want to come to the front?
Hello?
Okay. All right. There we go. Woo! We're problem solvers out here.
Okay, so I did mention that I've been knocking on doors since July 1st, and I've been here. I've been here about 6 times, and I spoke to residents, and they did talk about, their concerns about taxes. And there was a particular gentleman that actually told me that the rural taxes went up in 2023, 2024, I believe, somewhere around there, 15%, and in 2 years, 30%. He said, I will vote for anyone that will work in maintaining the taxes. And what I tell people at the door is, I will be your voice. I will advocate for you. While I was doing my research, I realized that there used to be a differential tax system before, but now they've adopted the uniform tax rate, which does not necessarily benefit you. So something about me is I do not profess to know everything, but I learn very fast. And I know that this is a pet peeve for the rural people. So one thing I know is if nothing is brought to council for discussion, nobody's going to talk about it. I will bring it to council. And not only will I bring it to council, I will work behind the scenes to ensure that my colleagues understand the importance of making sure we're fair to everybody. So I will work for you. Every day of my 10 months, I'm going to be your counselor and beyond. So I know this is really, really important to you, and it's important to me. I mean, we're talking about even raising taxes by 7% right now. Being a leader in the banking world, I know people don't even get 3% in increase in their income. And I know most of you living here are, advanced in age, like me, retired. And so you have limited income. And so where is that money really going to come from? So it is important for us to be fair in our tax system. If we need to bring back the differential tax rate, then we have to bring it back. And you have work to do too. You have to at least show up, attend meetings, attend council meetings, be part of the plan, be part of the budgets. Because the councillors, your councillors or mayor can't do it alone. I want a Milton where we can co-create solutions that will work for you. Thank you.
Yeah, I can second your comments about the differential tax. That's certainly something that would be discussed. I can't say for certain how I would vote on that. I'd have to look at a lot of the numbers. But if that's the kind of thing that a lot of people want, then that's what we need to bring to the table to talk about. So engagement with the community is really important to me. Being able to know how everyone's feeling, what is it they want, what would make their lives better, and then bringing that to the council to discuss it and try and make the best decision going forward. Taxes are going to go up with the next budget, and I would like to see everyone be represented by that. I'd like to see everybody getting, maybe actually what we need is more services. If you're being taxed on things that you're not using, maybe you just need more things to be out here for you. And all of these things could be brought forward and discussed. I think that's a pretty straightforward question, though. That's it for me.
Thank you. Delivering service in a density like downtown Milton is different from delivering service in a rural area when houses are only 50 feet apart and in downtown and 200 or 300 feet apart in the rural areas. It is difficult to equate the cost. However, it should be lower. The mill rate for rural zoned land should be lower than urban zoned land. So if you elect me, I will put forward a motion to lower the taxes, lower the mill rate to a rate that's whatever the bureaucrats say it should be. I don't know, in council, we are going to vote, and maybe I will be the only one that votes to lower rurally zoned lands taxes.
I'm 100% in favor of reducing these taxes for rural areas. Also supporting the farmers because we need to have cheaper food at our tables. At the same time, improving services in rural areas and transportation through a smart budgeting by allocating more resources towards rural areas. Thank you.
So I'm going to try to squeeze this answer as quality-wise I can. So my thoughts are that fairness comes first. You got to be able to get the same services as anybody else. So that's number one. And as for the taxes, yes, there's always advocating being done. You can always you always can bring forth a motion and say, yes, taxes should be lowered. If that is not the case, then you ought to get the services that anybody else is getting. And also, I'm going to tell you how to do this. You can always ask for a review with the council. And like one of the colleagues over here said, they do attend their town meetings, and that would be definitely a plus point on that. That being said, remember, anything and everything is possible. The question is, who's willing to do it? Thank you.
Well, I think ultimately the role of a town councilor is to advocate for their constituents. So it doesn't really matter what I want. It matters what everyone else wants, right? So if the vast majority of people in Nassagaweya, Campbellville, Brookville, Moffat want lower taxes, then that's what I would advocate for. And if the alternative solution is advocating for better services, more accessible services, then that's what I would advocate for. And I think that's what I could speak to right now. In terms of more services, I'd love to see a greater on-demand transit system here if we can't get regular routes. I know there's a problem with high-speed internet. So I'd love to see something like fixed wireless where fiber isn't an option, for example. And even something like a public map that showcases where broadband is in progress, where it's in the planning process, and where it's already been implemented so that everyone knows what's going on. Snow plowing is also a big issue here from what I've heard, knocking on doors, right? Making sure there's sufficient contracts so that people's roads are cleared in time and so people are able to drive and get to school and work safely. Those are all things that I would advocate for. Thanks.
I was at the town council meeting when we changed it to a uniform code. There's 3 members of the council currently in the audience, 2 of them who were at that meeting as well, so they can correct me after if I say anything wrong. At that meeting, we changed it from a uniform code, but we also changed it with a partial absence of real data. There were some people who said that the rural tax rate should be higher than the urban because it has a higher rate of servicing and the rural area should be higher. Some said it should be lower because there are specific services that are not being provided to rural residents. If you frame it, there's 2 things. One is there's an absence of data. There hasn't been a recent report or study saying what is exactly the cost or the expense per capita, per resident in the rural area versus the urban. So one mistake is you're making a decision without having the data. The second thing is, if you're framing it just at a data perspective like this, you're going to lose because there's 9 votes on council, and regardless of what the Ward 1 councillor says, you're going to lose that vote. You need to frame it as, do we want to protect our rural area? Do we want to protect our green space? If you knock on the urban area of downtown Milton, even the ones who've never come to Campbellville and Nassagaweya, they're proud of our conservation area and our rural area and green space, even the ones who don't even visit here. So you need to frame it more of, we need to protect our rural space, we need to protect our farms, our agriculture, our horse industry. if you frame it in that way, you're going to get the urban councillors more on board. Remember, you need to do something that gets those 9 votes to pass it. So even if all of us say, yeah, we're going to want to lower the rural tax rate because it's all popular right here, that's not going to happen unless you convince the other councillors to support that too. And you need to reframe that conversation in a way that that's going to happen. So that question on its own needs to be reframed in a way that we want to have a rural area of green space, of farms, of escarpments, and does all of Milton want to protect that? And I think the answer is yes.
Okay. Rick, I disagree with you. You voted in favor of this.
I did.
Thank you. For the record, here's what I commit to. I commit to moving a motion to reverse this. And the day you're like me, and I know others who have said to me, councillors have said to me that they will support that motion. Number 2, I commit to a dashboard where you can actually go on the website and see how your money is being spent, where it's being spent, and how councillors are actually voting. This is about accountability. This is how you actually should be managing the town. It is not about anything else. Responsibility is like governance in a council. So when I run Milton, oversee Milton Hydro, my job is to ensure that management does what we should be doing. And I work with the council, with the board directors to make decisions. So they're all aligned and we get the right things done. That's what should be working in council, and it doesn't always work that way. Now, are we going to get what we want? Not necessarily. But I will challenge what we don't have and ensure that we actually work towards that objective. And we have to decide as a community in the rural area what's missing. And I think that that's what we should also be asking management to share with us. What is actually missing that the rural residents can use? Now let me give you a dollar amount. And I just did it quickly in my head. The average was about $200 per household with tax increase. It's been about 9 years. So let's just say it's 8. It's $4.6 million that has been collected from the rural area. Do you feel the services? Probably not. Right? And that's the challenge. So what should we be getting in return for that $4.6 million? Right? Even if a portion of that money goes back to managing the roads and doing other things. Is it $1 million? Is it $500,000 that's left over? What do we get in return for that? That's for you to decide. Because you know what? You're the voters. I ran consumer brands. The customer is always right. Always. And if I told the customer, sorry, this is the way you get things, I wouldn't be where I was.
All right, thank you all for those your comments on that question. And I think it's not just about taxes, it's about services. I think we've got that across. I know we were all at a meeting, we were at a meeting not too long ago. We had the fire department here. They were talking about times and all that, response time, and we were concerned that our rural folks we weren't getting our it wasn't like the urban area for that. And we do have that beautiful fire station in Campbellville. I can tell you the story of my barn fire, and we were lucky that someone was doing a bonfire that got out of control, and the fire department was right around the corner. And luckily they just dropped the hoses, came to my place, and we were able to save the barn, save like 40,000 chickens. And if they hadn't come from town, I would have lost the barn, lost all the birds, and we would have lost a big dream. Well, at least my agricultural dream. So anyways, just keep that all in mind. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all your answers. So our next question, we're going to go this way down, and because a lot of you didn't use the full 2.5 minutes, we're going to be able to get lots more done here. So the next question is, many residents have raised concerns about unsafe vehicle speeds and dangerous intersections. How will you improve traffic calming and road safety, particularly in high-risk areas like Campbell Ave East and Campbellville Road, which are heavily impacted when the 401 backs up and I'm just going to add every other day. Okay, so we're going to start here. What's that? Every day. Every day. I was giving them maybe the odd Sunday if it wasn't. So, I know it's brutal. My parents live on there. And I'm going to just share a story about how bad it gets. My dad's in 92, mom's in 83. They had to cross the road to get the mail. We said that's way too dangerous, so now we forward it all to my house, and I just bring it over once a week. So that's how scary some of these roads can get. So we'll have 2.5 minutes again to talk about this, and I'll start this side. Oh, and can we have everyone stand up when you speak so they can see you? Because they judge it. Yes, go.
Okay. It took me 12 minutes to get.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to be cheating. It took me 12 minutes to get off of Wheelahan onto Campbellville. Even with the suppression of the speed bumps, we end up, with overflow from 401 when something happens. But here's the bad news. 401 is about to be reconstructed. And that's going to take, 2 or 3 years before it's over. And we need to find solutions to this rather quickly. Now, I'm going to shock you. Not everybody will agree with this, because I'm not sure that I agree with it yet. But today, I was shared something with me that they're using speed cameras in Wellington County. They've raised $6 million in fines. It cost $460,000 to process all of this. And the community made money, but they're also using it for road suppression. I think that...
Sorry. Can't hear you back.
Okay, that's better? Okay. So I think that if we want something to work for us that's more effective, that you have to be open your mind. Can you hear it?
Yeah, just one
Okay.
Hello? All right, that's good. All right, good. So if we want something to be very effective, we can be a little more draconian if we want to be. Right now, that's the challenge we're faced with, but I do believe that there are solutions. Speed bumps are good, but the feedback that I've heard as of late, particularly on Campbell Avenue, it's great. It's a little loud, by the way.
Back there, is it good? It's better back there.
Okay. Sorry, so even if I talk lower, it won't work. So what happens is that on Campbell Avenue, you see that there's 9 of them there. And you're constantly stopping and going, And I see motorcycles racing through the lines. So it's not, it's not everybody's going to obey them. So we need better solutions to solve this problem, because I know there's accidents. I know I've seen the racing. Somebody says that it's us doing it. It could be. I think that the real need here is that we have to start with ourselves. Number one, make sure we're respecting the roads so that we can force that issue upon others who don't live around here and to respect it as well. But there are solutions. How far are we willing to go to solve them? And I can tell you that the speed bumps are fine, but if you talk to the people on Martin Street who have them now, they're not too happy. There's different shapes and sizes, but we need to do something that protects us. And the accidents that are happening are consistent with the speed that's going on.
Okay, Rich, pass it on. You stand up, please, so everybody can see you.
So over 10 years ago, I brought forward a motion to town council for a traffic calming policy, something that we didn't previously have. And in that motion, I put the idea of giving the control to the Milton residents. That if residents in an area, and the town staff would designate that area, wanted some measures, they could petition the town of Milton, do a survey of the area, and control their own area for some of the measures like traffic calming and speed bumps. That was 10 or 12 years ago. So now, 2025, I'm getting some hate mail and some love mail. People blaming me for the speed bumps that were installed this year because it was my policy 10 years ago that the majority of council passed, or people being happy. Now the ones on Martin, I knocked on all the houses of Martin, The majority of the people on Martin like them, love them, appreciate them. But the problem is they're very high. So you have to slow down to about 10 kilometers an hour to go over them. So the people who don't live on Martin, who live further away, are very upset. And I've got a lot of hate mail saying, Rick, I'm not voting for you because of the speed bumps on Martin. Speed cameras and red lights, when I was on council, I asked town staff, hey, we have this new legal authority. We can do speed cameras, we can do red lights. I want them around schools and community safety zones. Come back with a report on how we can implement them. I left council. That hasn't really, in my opinion, moved forward. We have the legal option to do that. I am in favor of that. I would like the town staff to come back on a report to see what is the cost to implement them and where could we implement them. I think around schools and parks would be the first area to start. But it's not just speed cameras, it's not just, there's engineering, there's education, there's enforcement. All three of them, I think we're doing around a C-. All three of them needs to do improvements. When you knock on doors, road safety is the #1 concern. It's always been my top priority. It's always been what I spoke at council and what I brought motions for. A lot of the changes we're seeing in Milton today, I initiated over 5, 10 years ago. But we can do a lot better.
Please stand.
So road safety is a town-wide concern, I would say. I've knocked nearly every door in, actually I've knocked every door in urban Milton and in old Milton. Here, not so much, it's a little bit harder, but I tried my best. And even when I knocked here, people were mentioning road safety as a top priority. And I understand why. People want to be able to get to work, get to school safely. People want to be able to let their kids out to play, and the current state of our roads and the level of enforcement or lack thereof that we're experiencing in this town just isn't allowing that to happen. I would say the measures for road safety would be similar in the urban side as the rural side, right? We want roundabouts, we want check cans, we want speed limits to be lower wherever possible, especially in community areas, in community safety zones and in school zones. I was knocking doors on Campbell Ave, and the residents there did advocate for speed bumps on that street. They said on the other side of the street, of the traffic lights, there were several speed bumps, and the opposite side of Campbell was just completely neglected. And it's on that side that they had something like a 4 or 5 car pileup a little while back. And so it's definitely a safety concern over there for those residents. And if they're advocating for speed bumps, then I would want to see those implemented. But like Rick was saying, it's important that they're properly engineered, right? Maybe something similar to a speed hump rather than a speed bump, so that it's easier on your tires, it's not as much of a jolt, you don't have to slow down to 10 kilometers per hour to get over them. But yeah, I feel like it's a pretty straightforward solution. People want road safety measures, people want enforcement. In terms of speed cameras, again, I feel like a lot of people feel like speed cameras are a cash grab. I'm not sure how this crowd feels about them, but I would like to see them maybe implemented as kind of a warning system, right? Maybe to help educate people about their driving manners, I guess, the way that they drive, their driving habits, I should say, right? If you receive 3 warnings, for example, then a ticket is issued. So instead of immediately penalizing people for speeding and for driving recklessly, maybe we give them the opportunity to learn, opportunity to understand the speed limits that are being enforced in town. Thank you.
So I think it's a little bit of a loaded question. First, I'm going to address what the issues are. So you have trucks which are on narrow roads. You have commuters cutting through Campbellville toward highways, like some of them mentioned here. Then you have event tourism, like Mohawk Racetrack coming in. So obviously there's a lack of transit. We already know that. For the solutions, which I have not heard so far, this is what my thought process is. You can also look at traffic management and safety, push per truck route review. That's one. The other one that I had in mind was infrastructure improvement, advocate for road widening and resurfacing on key routes where traffic is constant, like one of the constituents said over here. Partnership with province, region, and work with Halton Region and MTO to address congestion on major roads like 401, Gulf Line, etc. since rural roads take the overflow. Push for better coordination when highway closure dump traffic onto rural areas. Also, we can talk about smart transit options, parallel on demand transit. Last but not least, you could also have long-term planning, the future development approval of traffic impact studies. So those are the solutions that I thought of, which I can propose. And I think you have to have solutions, not just sweet talk. So I think that's very important. Thank you.
So personally, I've been driving since 20 years. I haven't got a ticket. So that shows I'm a good driver. So speeding is, it's a very complex issue. And there are complex solutions about it. So having speed bumps, one of them, but they shouldn't be every 200 meters because that make really people mad. Second is how do we control it though? I think it's better to work with authorities and have more police presence on roads, random checkups, so people get to have this fear that there could be a police officer around the corner, rather than having you can't have these speed bumps on the rural roads because it's not something school zone. You can have them on urban roads, and that's I think is a better way and a smart way to control it. Thank you.
When we enforce the Highway Traffic Act, we should use a policeman, not a camera. There are consequences when a policeman gives you a ticket. You may lose points, you pay a fine, you go to court, or whatever the case may be. When somebody gets a photo radar ticket, just pay the bill, no consequences. No insurance company questions why you were driving too fast or raise your rates because you were a risk to society. So I'm not in favor of red light cameras. I'm not in favor of speed cameras and photo radar. You may remember that the Bob Rae government in the early 1990s introduced photo radar and it was a disaster. The Mike Harris government scrapped it maybe a year or two after he became premier, and now we brought it back under a different government. It doesn't work. We need police officers. Who wants to see a speed bump on this road behind us here? What do you think you want to see? Sorry I asked that question. But the solutions that I've heard so far means we'll be spending a lot of money to implement programs that will have minimal effect on drivers. Nothing works better than a policeman in a car with a flashing red and blue light. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to split this into 3 categories for myself. Speeding, flow, and accidents. So when it comes to speeding, if you want to put speed bumps in, they're great in really specific situations, like in front of schools, areas with a high residential density with lots of children that are playing in the street frequently. That's where you want speed bumps. And then in other places, if you want to control the speed, you need to do things like change the flow of the street. Don't have it be so straight. You have to have some curves. You have to have a median with trees. This goes right into flow as well. Roundabouts are a great solution to flow. If we're getting backed up in some spaces, roundabouts are often the answer. And they'll stop speeding in a lot of ways. Now, I will say, I live on Tremaine Road, and we have a section that's very straight between 2 roundabouts, and every night I have speeders and people ripping their engines, and it's ticking me off to no end. So I would like to see an end to that. Having more police officers out there, I think, is a great solution. I think we need more citizen involvement to identify where the problem areas are, to better direct our police, to say, I'm hearing this happening in this spot at this time, and then we can not waste money sending police everywhere and really dial into certain spots. And I would care a lot about repeat offenders. I don't think that there's a ton of people making the problem. I think it's a few select people. then they're the ones that need to be dealt with. Accidents. Accidents are going to fit in with speeding. Where I live on Tremaine Road, where 14 Side Road and Main Street used to intersect, or almost intersect with a dogleg turn, I've had more than 10 accidents, not me, on my property, like other people crashing in, a lot of people coming down 14 Side Road and just seeing how fast they can get their car to go. So this is an issue that matters a lot to me. I've seen some personally cars flip over, and I've had to deal with the person there being injured, and we can't have that. So if we need to spend a bit of extra money infrastructure-wise to get our roads safer, then we absolutely need to do that.
So thank you for the question. As unique as Ward 1 is, we know that road safety and management is a priority. So it really doesn't matter where we are, downtown, rural, it is a priority. Now I'll give you some data. Rural roads see disproportionate risk, almost 48% of Ontario vehicle fatalities. Also, the average speed limit in Milton here around here is 70 kilometers per hour. And so I do agree with Rick when he said we need to have some, traffic calming. Now, what that would be, it has to be a co-creation. I believe in co-creating with the people that live here. Is it going to be police? Is it going to be speed bumps? Is it going to be traffic display? It would have to be you that would decide what that would be. And now I'm saying that because, again, I've knocked on doors on the streets. And some of the things I heard is the traffic is moving so fast that, residents can't even turn into their properties. Before COVID-19, I was told that, the potholes were filled on an annual basis, they stopped. And when I heard that complaint, I sent an email, and thanks to Regional Councillor Colin Best, he directed me to the people that needs to do something about it. And they did respond to those residents. So those roads need to be maintained. And yes, whatever measure we need to take to reduce fatalities, to reduce speed, needs to be coming from you, because you live here, you understand this place. And so working together with you is really my forte. How can we co-create safety that you need, not just for you, but your families? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I know this is a very serious issue, but I know one other thing that will slow people down. When I was driving here tonight, somebody was throwing a blue toilet out on the side of the road on Wolf Line. I don't know who it is, but that made me slow down and take a look at that. So if we just put some unique things on the side of the road, maybe we're going to it was, yeah, there was going to the white one and a blue one, but the blue one got my eye. No, I don't know who threw it out. I just saw it on the side of the road. So, and I can tell you, we talked about the Wellington, their photo cameras. They work. They work. I got mail 46 and a 40 on Easter Sunday, driving my mother-in-law after like 9 o'clock at night. You get that in the mail. So if you're going to do those, make sure it's fair with the weekend or whatever, when there's no kids around. Or something. Anyways, that's not the point. Okay, one more. We have another question now. Okay, rural Milton is valued for its natural heritage, farmland, and unique character. Yet in recent years, we've had an increase in illegal land uses with little enforcement. While at the same time, rural property owners are restricted from building additional residential units on their own land. What is your position on ARUs in the rural land, and how will you address illegal land uses in Ward 1? I guess to be fair, we'll start in the middle, go this way, and then go back the other way, okay? And you have 2.5 minutes.
So obviously there's a concern for having illegal uses, which I'm not in favor of. Everybody has to have a proper way of getting it done. And I think most of it, again, belongs to the councillors. Is what councillors approve, that's what goes forward, and we all know that. So I am all about preserving the heritage, whether it's rural or urban. That's what my stand is, because we have to remember that without having this, we don't have much of a history. So as for me, I would go to the council, I will bring motion what needs to be done, and I will also go for review as well, where we have illegal land use where you think it's important to do it, and advocating is what I do, and I will get that done. And I can't promise you what the result is going to be, but what I can promise you is that anything that you bring to me, I'll make sure that it's presented at its best. Thank you for asking that question.
This way and that. Yeah, out.
So obviously when we think about rural Milton, we're thinking about the farmland. And I think it's absolutely worth protecting that farmland and making sure that it stays agricultural land and doesn't get sold off to become subdivisions. And I think the best way to do that is to encourage smart growth within the urban boundary, rather than try to encourage urban sprawl outwards towards the land here. How we would accomplish that would just be to review sustainable growth practices, of course, within that urban boundary, right? And advocate for keeping this land natural, keeping our natural spaces available for all of us to enjoy and use. And yeah, that's all I've got for that, honestly. Thank you.
So sometimes what happens is we inadvertently make it difficult for those who want to follow the law and obey the bylaws. When the ARU was originally passed, it was there to bring in additional renter units, bring in more housing options for residents. But it was rolled out in a way that other things started getting piggybacked on it. Additional inspections, making sure you have smoke alarms, making sure you're having these additional fees. So it rolled out in a way that looked like we were penalizing those who were making legal basement apartments. Councillor Ali is in the audience. She brought a motion to council very recently trying to correct some of the flaws in our implementation. It got some amendments, but it basically did pass. But it's also, when someone tries to do the right thing, and someone tries to follow the legal process and obeys all the bylaws, we do sometimes find in our position where we're over-scrutinizing those individuals and ignoring the ones who are having the legal basement apartments, who are ignoring all of our bylaws, who are not following any of the rules. So I do see examples of that frequently happening in the past, and we need to do a better job on that. And County Council recognized that they made a mistake and they worked on correcting it. We need to do a better job of that in the future.
So there's three questions here, right? First one is illegal dumping. So it's an environmental question. You know, who's going to actually help address this issue? You know, I see residents constantly cleaning up. One person called me and said, "You know what, George? I saw the person who dumped it. I took their license plate down, and the police came, and it also had their home address was in the garbage. So the police contacted them and gave them time to come pick it up. I mean, these things should not be happening, and there has to be accountability to it again." The second question is about the rental units. I agree that you should be able to build if you've got the property, you follow all the rules. You know, there should be no barriers. But at the end of the day, you know, it should be done right. You know, and I think when I was at the council and heard this discussion, I also heard the fire chief say that what they were doing was visiting houses and making sure that they were compliant. They weren't trying to be restrictive. And I spoke to firemen who basically said to me, "You know, George, one of the problems is we go into some of these units and there are 8 mattresses or 10 mattresses on the floor. It's not just one renter. So if there's a fire and there's an issue, you know, there has to be some consequences here." And I agree with that too. So I think we have to balance these things out. I mean, what is it that the town was trying to accomplish here? Perhaps part of that. But I do believe that, you know, there are risks without oversight. That's all I'm saying. There has to be oversight. Not that there should be restrictions preventing. If you've got the land and you've got the ability to do it, by all means. But there should be oversight. That protects you and the tenant. The last part here is that, you know, that you see the illegal trucks too. And they're parking, you know, and we're hampering down on that. but it is a challenge. And there are organizations that have taken advantage of the community, and the community's been working together to try and stop that. And there's been good work so far, but we need to continue to do it. We just can't stop. And as a councillor, I will ensure that this issue does not go away.
So illegal dumping. I have a waste bin at my work. Trust me, to my surprise, every week, it's not my garbage. People come and throw from all over the city, and it's full. So I pay for it. So dumping in rural areas and farmland lands, it not just destroy the environment, it causes headache for farmers as well. It should not be done, and it should be stopped. Also, building for the rural areas, as he said, they want to utilize their own land to build house or anything, they're not allowed. I think there should be relaxed policies to let them build on a fair area where they can utilize that land. Thank you.
Illegal dumping, illegal trucking yards, and illegal residences have been common throughout Peel and Halton for decades. Right now, I will use Brampton as an example, since they're a little bit further ahead in population than we are. Brampton has been fighting illegal truck storage, trailer storage yards for years. They've gone to court. It's taken 2 to 3 years before they can get an eviction from those people. Illegal apartments? Well, I ran for city council in Mississauga in 2014. And in the area where I ran, every house had a basement apartment. Every townhouse had people living in the attic. The voters came by and asked me what am I going to do about it. I said, what do you mean living in the attic? Yeah, they took out the ceiling. They took out the insulation of the attic, and they live in the attic. That goes on. It's around all the places you see it. We as the residents and the voters, we need to be more vigilant in what we do. And when we see things that are happening, we need to bring it to the attention of the bylaw people to make sure they can look at it. They can't see everything. They won't see everything. And it's going to get worse. The current program that the federal and provincial government have, build and build ARUs all over the place, it's going to get worse. So council, from this day forward, will have a big job to do. And the vigilance of all of the residents and the voters is what is going to solve the problem. Because councillors can't solve the problem. We don't have enough hours in a day to go visit every complaint that we get.
So ARUs are a great concept, but it seems to me that the rollout was not what it needed to be, and then we have issues that come along with that. We gotta have the extra room. We gotta have spaces. This is one of the ways that we do population growth without urban sprawl, which is I'm absolutely opposed to. But you have to do it safely. We have to be doing it with safety in mind. All the other candidates have already mentioned this sort of thing. I double down on that. You can't have illegal units, and you can't have units being used illegally, right? You can't have them with all of these way too many people, not fire safety, maybe no water access. All of these things are there for a reason. These rules are there for a reason. Okay, as for the illegal dumping, I'll speak to this on a personal level. I spend a day every couple of weeks picking trash out along my streets and the surrounding neighborhood on my walks, and I'll come back with a bag every single time. And quite often I'll find a bag on my journeys and fill it, and find another bag and fill that. Also, I'm on the board of directors for Sustainable Milton, and I'll be organizing a lot of the trash cleanups. So if you'd like to have one in your area in the spring, please reach out to us and we'll make that happen. I'd love to see some of you guys there. Tacking onto that, I live right close to the escarpment, so environmental preservation of our rural lands is very important to me. We've been in battles over the past decades fighting development right around us. I would like to see more focus on developing already urban areas and less focus on development in rural areas.
John, may I please ask you to repeat the question again?
Sure.
Thank you.
Rural Milton is valued for its natural heritage, farmland, and unique character. Yet in recent years, we've seen increase in illegal land uses with little enforcement. While the same rural property owners are restricted from building additional residential units, ARUs, on their own land. What is your position on ARUs in the rural area, and how would you address the illegal land uses in Ward 1?
Thank you so much. Again, protection is really important. Environmental land protection is really important. Some of the people I spoke with actually mentioned 2 areas that were illegal truck parking space to me when I was talking. And again, I sent that to the regional councillor, and he helped to send it to people that can support. I believe that it's important for us to do a little bit more. We need to do a little bit more. Accountability is very important, and following through in protecting the residents is very, very important. I mean, we all pay taxes, right? And those taxes need to be used correctly. So I would say that illegal dumping, illegal garages need to be reviewed, and actions need to be taken. And I will give you another example. One of the residents told me that somebody actually saw it, a green bin in front of his house, and people were dropping dog poo in it. And it's summer, right? I took it on and it was removed. And I'm not even councillor yet. So why am I saying this? If any of those incidents happen, I mean, you need to know who your councillor is so that you can reach out to them. I was educating some of the residents yesterday. They said, tell me, what will be your job when you're in council? A lot of people don't know it. I know you are here because you know what it is, but a lot of people do not know. So understanding the role of your councillor is super, super important so that they can help you meet your goals, whether it's in charge of, whether it relates to illegal dumping, whether it relates to illegal garages, and of course, preservation of heritage is very important. While I was walking around, I saw all these beautiful buildings that were over 100 years old, and I wonder, why would we want to preserve those, right? And I know that Milton has a plan. Are we all aware that the town of Milton has a plan? I said it before, I said, what's a beautiful plan if the populace, if the residents don't know about it? Communication, right? We need to communicate better. So I'm all for supporting heritage, and of course, making sure that our homes are safe, people are not building illegal basements, and illegal dumping should be stopped. Thank you.
All right. And Pat, just so you know, we do have a rural cleanup. I saw Jennifer's face, and we do that in the spring. So just so you know, we do have that going on. That's good. And with respect to all the candidates and all the, from the town, when it comes to ARUs in the rural area, especially the Greenbelt, that is strictly provincial. The restrictions are like in the Greenbelt natural area, they're restricted. So I see we have our MPP happens to be in the audience. How you doing, T? So that's something that we may have to start looking at, what can work for the rural community. So we may be having a chat. So there you go. So those were all the questions that we had prepared, and we want to give all the candidates a chance to visit with all of you. You can talk to them individually. So we're going to give everybody 30 seconds to give me their elevator pitch for the last little bit, and we'll start with who's number 8. Okay, we'll start here and then go down the mountain. There you go.
All right, so first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for arranging all this. And my bit is this, that when you guys are electing someone, elect someone on merits, not because somebody has a lot of signs or take pictures, post on Facebook. Don't change that mindset. lead the change before it leads you. That's all I have to say to you, and this is very important that we get other people out there, whoever that may be. But that's just me, my opinion, and we want to do everything that's right, and we want to serve the justice, and it's got to be done right by you. Thank you.
Number 7. Who's number 7? Okay, I gotta stand up. That's me. Okay.
Thank you very much. What all of us had to say, I think all of us will do a very good job as your counselor, but I want a job. And I'm kind of the direct kind of guy. I want the job. And I want the job because I don't like the direction in which the President Council is going. I see the hyperdensity that they're proposing, which will destroy parts of Milton, and I don't want to see that happen. Thank you.
That's the most honest thing I ever said here in this building. I just want the job.
Well, thank you everyone for being here and giving me a chance to speak to you guys tonight. And I would say vote for me, vote for change, vote for someone who can really go out and raise your voice, raise your concern. Thank you.
I'll just go that way.
Five.
Or 6.
Number 5. He's 6. Oh, 6. Who's number 6?
He's 6.
Okay. 5.
So 30 seconds, yes, vote on merits. Yes, good. One thing I want to say is good intentions aren't enough. You need to follow that through, watch the implementation. Because sometimes good intentions and how it's implemented is not the same thing. One thing I want to say is, this is the highest turnout of all 3 debates. Actually, first 1 and 2 doesn't even equal. So it does show that the rural Milton matters and they care more. There's more participation. Talk to your neighbors, please vote. The last election had the lowest voter turnout ever, 27. I'm hoping this is not that. Who's number 4?
Okay, let me make a few points that I don't think I had time to get to. You might notice I don't have any signs out there. That's because I think that the signs are wasteful, and I would like to see some system in place where there's maybe a few designated places, a high traffic spot or something, where we can have sign, and every candidate gets 1 sign at those spots, and then no other signs. And if we are successful with an effort like that, we could see that spread across the whole country and have a massive reduction in waste.
I want to start by saying that leadership is not about postal code. As your counselor, I will be your voice. I will advocate for you, for what's important to you, for safer roads, for communities, for families, for your businesses. That is what I stand for. So on September 19 and 20, vote IDG Solar at Siba, because I will do the best that you deserve. Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming out again. Like Rick said, huge turnout, which is so great to see. If I sounded a little bit nervous today, it's because I wanted to impress you. Not sure if I was successful. But yeah, please come out and vote for advanced polls. They're happening this weekend. We want to make sure everyone's voice is heard because council did push for this by-election in the first place. I would say, I do genuinely believe in a town that's more accessible and more sustainable and more community focused, and I will absolutely advocate for that every single day that I have that position. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. 3 words. Communicate with you, communicate with council, and communicate with management. Those are the 3 C's to great leadership. That's what's worked for me throughout my career, and it will work with me when you vote for me as councillor. Thank you.
No. Good try. Good try. Tells you're paying attention. Anyways, once let's get, if we could have a hand for all of our candidates. And once again, our rural area shows that we care. We really do care about our community. I remember back when they changed how council was put together. Our ward, was it Ward 3 then? I forget, but Ward 3 had like the highest voter turnout of anyone, and then, well, they ignored us, but that was beside the point. But we had the way higher, I'm not taking shots, this is from years ago, but we do care, we're passionate about what we believe in here, we love where we live and how we live here, and we want to be an important part of Milton. Always have been, always hope we always will be. So everybody, here's your chance. You can come up and talk to all your candidates. They'll be mulling about. Remember to get out, advance polls, Friday, Saturday, and then on election day the 6th, and on the 7th, all the signs will be cleaned up, right? Because that's one of my pet peeves, if signs don't get cleaned up right away. And anyways, if you could just, after you're done sitting, just stack a chair, help out for getting it all cleaned up. So thank you, everyone travel safely, and vote early, vote often.